Hello, welcome, my friends and my students. In case we haven't met yet, my name is Ajo Michael, and I'm a faculty of civil service preparation at State Academy. So we are here in the context of prelims today. Something that I felt, my preparation is that, a right strategy, which is a simple and easy one, which I adopted back in 2018, helps you to score or maximize your score, whatever you are studying, by 20 or 15 marks, right? So it helped me in 2018, in 19, and in 20, right? And I was scoring consistently above 120 in all these years, giving me that comfort of going into mains preparation right after prelim, right? So today, I would like to share that, those strategies which I practice myself with you, and also I've consulted some of my toppers of prelims. So I combine this strategy for my students. So I hope you can all, now with 15 days left, we can all maximize what we have studied. Our knowledge is very necessary. And on top of that, I think we can use this strategy and maximize our score by 15 or 20 marks and get into that zone where you are scoring over 110 marks and you can be safe on any day you will be clearing prelims. Right. All right. So let's get jump straight into it. Right. So here we will be today discussing broadly on this line. We will be looking at all these things. We'll first reflect on what we have actually done till now. That's very necessary. This is 50% of the work, or rather 60% of the work. And then Baki, that rest of 5 things will help us to push that bar a little bit on the higher side. That's what I intend to do. This is my job here. So let's jump in. Right. So as far as reflection is concerned, we have been preparing for this exam. Hold on a second. Okay, we have been preparing for this exam for like what, 3 to 4 months minimum, all of us. And some of you have been preparing for the last 1 or 2 years and yet to crack that prelims. So, but we can be sure that we have studied already a lot of things. So we have covered the basic requirements of this exam that needs to be necessary, and you have to assess also like how much you have studied, where you are weak. This 15 days is for those area where you feel like you are a little bit short by knowledge or by preparation. So that reflection is very necessary, what you have studied. Now you have to understand your accuracy level. We have 100 questions, right? And of that, what is your success rate? How much, suppose you are attempting 90 questions, how much you make correct? 70, 60, 50? That you have to think on yourself. Okay, then you have to, based on my suggestions, you can make your own strategy. So do that. So, okay. So we have seen that what is your so you have to also understand what is your optimal attempt, right? Optimal attempt in the sense that how much of these attempts gives you the best marks as far as positive marks are concerned, right? Maybe say 70 is to 20, maybe 60 is to 30. That could be your the maximum productive area. So you have to identify that. Now, getting on to what and how to study in these 15 days. What all you should study now, right? That's very necessary. What all you should study now. First of all, no new information. Don't ever go for reading anything extra now. No current affairs, no newspaper, no any magazines, no special book that your friend may refer, that special friend may refer. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nada. Zero. Nothing. You cannot read nothing new. Only read what you have already been through, what you have already underlined, what you have highlighted. That's it. Okay. Now, having said that, let's see what all we can do in this area. First of all, I'll take the static portions, which are our basic NCRTs, basic books like Lashmiga, where what we have to do here. Now, revise the topics that you've already studied. So in UPSC, it's very necessary. You should revise maximum. There is no end to n times you have to revise, and you have to consolidate all those things. So if I wake you up from your sleep and ask you, what is this? You must be knowing that. What is Article 14 stands for? You must be knowing that. Clear. So for that, you have to maximum revise it maximum time. So now we can revise 3 or 4 times now, even in this 10 to 15 days, right? 10-15 ദിവസത്തിനുള്ളിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മാക്സിമം റിവൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അപ്പോൾ അത് ചെയ്യുക. Plus when you are revising, you have to jot down few things. What all things you have to jot down? You have to jot down, make notes. What all things that you tend to forget. Okay, tend to forget. You may be forgetting a couple of things. Despite studying a lot of time, you'll be say, what is Article 14? And no, if not that, which was Gandhi's first civil disobedience movement, or which was Gandhi's first hunger strike? അത് എന്താ അഹമ്മദാബാദ് മീൻസ് ആയിരുന്നോ അതോ ഖേദ സത്യാഗ്രഹ ആയിരുന്നു ചിലപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ ഇത് മറന്നു പോകും ഓക്കെ യു മേ ടെൻ ടു ഫോർഗെറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് നൗ നോട്ട് ദോസ് ഡൗൺ നൗ in the last 4 days we will not be reading any books, no books, but rather we will be reading only these points that you jot down. So that's very necessary. That gives you freedom of operation in the last 4 days. Now prioritize the subject. That's the third point I would like to make. Why is that so? Because all the subjects in UPSC are not having the similar weightage or return on investment when you going to sit in the exam. Some are more frequently questions are asked, some are less questions are asked, and in some subjects the nature of the questions is that it's very hard to crack that. Say ancient or medieval India, you can remember. So I'll give you suggestions which you have to prioritize in the last 10 days. That is obviously polity. You read Lashmikant, right? Then modern India, you have to read very thoroughly. Environment and science and technology. All these, mostly current affairs, not those static books, but current affairs you can follow. So these are a couple of economics, not to forget this, economics. Again, current affairs and economics and then static കുറച്ചും കൂടി important ആണ്. So this should be there. So as far as ancient and medieval India, if you haven't covered it very well, keep it at bay. For geography, I would say a couple of modules: climatology, oceanography, biogeography, and Indian geography. You focus a lot. But for geomorphology, if you are not finding it difficult, you can deprioritize it a little bit. Okay. Having said that, this should be the priority at which you look at static subjects. Now, static is not only our concern. We have current affairs too. But just before that, I am adding previous year question. 2013 to 2020, 7 years, 8 years are there. So you have to basically go through all the previous year questions. Current affairs of those years, you don't have to follow. But the static questions, follow religiously, follow thoroughly, and study the questions as well as study the options. Okay, now let me clue you in where you are going to get this 15-20 marks. This will get you 4 or 6 marks extra, because UPSC has a tendency to repeat the questions which you have asked, which they have asked in the past. Say some of the environment questions. Okay, some of the neem cotter urea. These questions were asked repeatedly, year after year. Neem cotter urea was asked in 2016 and 17, I guess. So, adu padikka ningu 4 to 6 extra marks kittum, sure thing. So go through that thoroughly. Now, after that, you have to look at your current affairs too. Now, integrate current affairs with your static portions. How to do that? First, read it subject-wise. Maybe you would have read monthly compilations. I'm going to practice it, but don't go for that. Ini നിങ്ങൾ ആദ്യം ഒരു സ്റ്റാറ്റിക് ബുക്ക് വായിക്കുന്നു. Say you have read economics. After reading economics static, then read economics current affairs. Okay. So this should be your approach. അപ്പോൾ എന്താണ് ആ ഒരു കണ്ടിന്യൂറ്റി നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കിട്ടും, അതൊരു റിവിഷനും കൂടിയാണ്. So read that, read along static portions. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു 3 കോമ്പിനേഷൻ, സ്റ്റാറ്റിക് പ്ലസ് MCQ പ്ലസ് കറന്റ് അഫയേഴ്സ്, ഈ ഒരു സ്ട്രാറ്റജി നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു ഷുവർലി ഞാൻ ഇത് മാക്സിമൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിട്ട് കണക്കാക്കുന്നില്ല. ഇത് നിങ്ങളുടെ ബേസിക് ഫൗണ്ടേഷൻ സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. ആ ഒരു 60 to 80 മാർക്സ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇവിടുന്ന് ക്രാക്ക് ചെയ്യാം. ബാക്കി കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് നമ്മൾ എക്സ്ട്രാ ആയിട്ട് കാണാൻ പോകുന്നത്. Now, this is a horror thing. This is something I want to emphasize really. This was horror. CSAT was horror. It's a gore thing in 2020. So many of good candidates who scored 140 in prelims, who scored 130 in prelims, comfortably in that zone. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ extra marks score ചെയ്തോ, failed. I saw this thing happening. Now, for my personal example, I got 104, 110 every year for my CSAT. This year I just got 70 plus marks. I was just it. But I got to see a lot of people who are like crying because of this CSAT thing. Despite their good GS scores, they were not able to crack it. So CSAT is a real reality you have to reckon with these days. So go through that properly. Focus on reading quantitative aptitude and reasoning, because English is becoming a little tricky these days. And find easier problem. There is always easier questions which you can just count on your fingers. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് റിവേഴ്സ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ ചെയ്തൊരു ആൻസറിലേക്ക് വരാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് എല്ലാ വർഷവും ഉണ്ട്. The challenge is that you have to find that out. So cover this paper, look for easier problems, do that. Okay, now to do that, you have to practice every day practice. Give a half an hour for CSAT every day, maybe 1 hour for CSAT every day. That will help you. Now, suppose you are from BTech or science background and you say like, this is easy, this is cakewalk. Don't please fall for that, right? So if you ask around, you can see a lot of BTech guys failed for CSAT last year. So don't ever excuse it unless you prepare. You are not gonna score over, right? So do that. Please do that. Please do me that favor. CSAT, I'm not giving much strategies, but just do that, right? Now, static is over, studying is over. That's not my area. My area is here. Now, what you have to focus here. Now, don't go for sectional test now, right? Period. Do full test, only do full test, and that too you can say 4 to 5 tests. I was thinking 10 tests, I should say 10 tests, but don't go for that. 10 tests is still too much. 3 or 4 tests you can do, and then review this test. What you made wrong, what you made right, what is your strength, what is your weakness, what is your optimum point, all this, analyze that, and then redo that test. This is boring, maybe this is boring, but redo that test. That use two purpose. It helps you to revise and helps you to fix these errors that you are making. Fix that errors. That's very necessary. You have to improvise yourself, right? And then while doing questions, you have to focus. You are reading this test minimum of 3 times. Minimum of 3 times is very necessary, because sometimes people happen that they are not able to finish the paper. ഒരു പ്രാവശ്യം മാത്രം വായിച്ചിട്ട് എക്സാം ഹാളിൽ നിന്ന് ഇറങ്ങി വരേണ്ടി വരും. That you are making a mistake because you are not able to otherwise solve with the questions which would have been easy for you. So minimum 3 readings. How to come to that? I'll get to that. So try to finish these full tests within 1 hour 30 minutes. Why? Because UPSC paper is a little more lengthy than the mock test you get. Say any institute mock test you will be comfortably able to finish that in 130 minutes. If you are 1 hour 30 minutes, if you are able to do that, you can easily cover the portions in 2 hours in UPSC. Otherwise, you will not be able to do that. So our pressure konduvarya എന്നിട്ട് 1 hour 30 minutes finish ചെയ്യാൻ നോക്കുക. Okay, this is something which is worked very fine for me. So identify your optimal attempt. That's like something I mentioned already. Okay, this is very key. So I don't know why people make this mistake. Okay, mark your options simultaneously. Okay, so let's take the black color. So say you are solved 16th question. Mark it right then and there. So I spoke to a couple of people, even one of the topper, and he was telling me he made this mistake last year because he cannot he didn't mark it alongside. അതായത് അവർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ സോൾവ് ചെയ്ത് അപ്പം തന്നെ മാർക്ക് ചെയ്തില്ല, അവസാനം മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വെച്ചു. ആൻഡ് അവസാനം സംതിങ് ഹാപ്പൻ ആൻഡ് ഹി ഡിഡ്ന്റ് ഗെറ്റ് ദ ടൈം. ഹി ലോസ് 1 or 2 minutes ഹിയർ ആൻഡ് ദെയർ. എന്താണ്, ഒരു 10 ക്വസ്റ്റ്യനോടെ മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. തിങ്ക് ഓഫ് ഇറ്റ്, യു ആർ സോൾഡ് ഇറ്റ് ഓൾറെഡി, യു നോ ദിസ് പെർഫെക്റ്റ്ലി ആൻഡ് യു ആർ സ്റ്റിൽ നോട്ട് ഏബിൾ ടു മാർക്ക് ദാറ്റ്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ നെവർ ഡു ദിസ് തിങ്. ഓൾവേസ് മാർക്ക് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ alongside. Do not wait for the last moment, right? Now, so this will again save you. Okay, I'm not going back there. ഒരു 3 readings, that's going to give you 10 marks extra. Always remember that. ഫസ്റ്റ് റീഡിംഗിൽ നമുക്ക് അറിയില്ലാത്ത ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ സെക്കൻഡ് റീഡിംഗ് വരുമ്പോൾ ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് മനസ്സിലാവും. ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ 20 marks കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നത്. Now, exam preparedness. And this exam is, as much as it is about content, it's more than about your mental strength, your attitude, your perseverance. So UPSC is a mental game. Believe that. So അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും ഫെയർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട് if you have this great mindset. Now, time is the biggest hurdle in UPSC. 3 readings is necessary, and you keep it like this: 1 hour first reading finish, 40 minutes second reading finish, and 20 minutes third reading finish. You can deduct some little minutes here and there, but ഈ ഒരു ടൈം മൈൽ സ്റ്റോൺ കീപ്പ് ചെയ്യുക. 1 hour കഴിയുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ തീർച്ചയായും 3 റീഡിങ്സ് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കണം, മസ്റ്റ് ആണ്, റൈറ്റ്? ഇഫ് യു ഡോണ്ട് നോ ദി ആൻസർ, ലീവ് ഇറ്റ് ഫോർ ലേറ്റർ. ഓക്കെ, ഫസ്റ്റ് റീഡിങ് എങ്ങനെയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്? only answer those questions which you are sure of. അത് മാത്രം ചെയ്യുക. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ടോ, ലീവ് ഇറ്റ് ഫോർ സെക്കൻഡ് റീഡിംഗ്. ഓക്കെ, ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ഗിവ് യു ന്യൂ പെർസ്പെക്ടീവ്. ബിലീവ് മീ, ദിസ് ഈസ് വെരി വെരി നെസസറി. ലീവ് ഇറ്റ് ഫോർ സെക്കൻഡ് or third reading, and now you just finish the first hour-ൽ ആ ഒരു ഷുവർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ മാത്രം. മേ ബി യു വിൽ മാർക്ക് 30 or 40 questions, മേ ബി 20 questions. നോ വറീസ്, അത് മാത്രം ചെയ്യുക, മുമ്പോട്ട് പോവുക. എന്താണ് മനസ്സിലാക്കണം, UPSC is always playing with your mind. അവര് ചില സമയത്ത് വളരെ ടഫ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റൻസ് അടുപ്പിച്ച് വരും. ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറയാം. കഴിഞ്ഞ 2020 I was doing 60 questions I finished. I just marked 10 or 12 questions, right? അപ്പോൾ you should not be tensed by this. ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനെ വിചാരിക്കരുത്, അയ്യോ എനിക്കിത് അറിയത്തില്ലല്ലോ, I am facing very tough exam. Nothing like that. If it's tough for you, it's tough for everybody. And my friends, actually somebody I trained, he lost his presence of mind, and he got scared. അങ്ങനെയാണ് അവന്റെ മാർക്ക് ഒരു 10 മാർക്ക് കുറഞ്ഞു പോയത്. So this will again help you to get that 10 marks. It's a mind game. It's a very big mind game. Remember that. Now, time management is necessary. Then you have to look for your attitude too. Okay, presence of mind should be kept. However difficult the exam, never mind. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റനും കിട്ടുന്നില്ല, never mind. Okay, no comparisons. Don't compare yourself with your friend, your relative, your faculties. Maybe you are looking at me and say, "Sir, how do I clear?" No matter what. ഇതൊന്നും ഒരു വിഷയമുള്ള കാര്യമല്ല. ഫസ്റ്റ് അറ്റംപ്റ്റിൽ തന്നെ ഹൈ സ്കോർ ചെയ്യുന്ന ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. സോ നെവർ കമ്പയർ ഈവൻ വിത്ത് യുവർ സെൽഫ്. ഇതുവരെ നിങ്ങൾ കിട്ടിയ സ്കോർ വെച്ചിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ ഒരിക്കലും നിങ്ങളെ കമ്പയർ ചെയ്യരുത്. ആ എക്സാം ഹോളിലുള്ള സിറ്റുവേഷൻ ഈ ലാസ്റ്റ് 15 days ഈ സ്റ്റാൻഡല്ലോ ഇതുവരെയുള്ളതൊന്നും ഡസൻ മാറ്റർ നോ. ആൻഡ് നെവർ സേ നെവർ. ഓക്കെ, നിങ്ങൾ എക്സാം ഹാളിൽ ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ടിൽ ദി ലാസ്റ്റ് ബെൽ ഈസ് റൺ, ആ ഒരു ലാസ്റ്റ് ബെൽ അടിക്കുന്നോളം വരെ നിങ്ങൾ ഒരിക്കലും എന്താണ് തോൽവി സമ്മതിക്കരുത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയില്ല സമ്മതിക്കരുത്. ലാസ്റ്റ് മിനിറ്റ് വരെ നിങ്ങൾ ഫൈറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക, നിങ്ങളുടെ ജീവനുള്ളിടത്തോളം കാലം, അതായത് ലാസ്റ്റ് ബെൽ അടിക്കുന്നോളം വരെ ഫൈറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. ആൻഡ് യു വിൽ ഗെറ്റ് 10 marks എക്സ്ട്രാ. ഓക്കെ, എല്ലാം 10 അടിച്ച് 60 വരെ പോകുമല്ല, ബട്ട് ആ ഒരു ഓരോ 10ഉം ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു മിക്സറിലൂടെയാണ് ആ 10 marks 15 marks നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കിട്ടും. സോ നെവർ സേ നെവർ. ആൻഡ് ഐ വുഡ് ലൈക്ക് ടു ബി എ ലിറ്റിൽ സർക്കാസ്റ്റിക്. No, if you are Jon Snow, don't feel shy to leave that question out. You are not supposed to know everything. We all are Jon Snow in one question or 1 to 10 questions. We will be our Jon Snow. So leave that behind. Don't mind, we leave that behind. There's no shame in leaving a question which you don't know. And at the same time, be brave to take risk. So what success will be for those who are brave enough to take risk. So I would say calculated risk. You are not taking risk blindly. You have to have confidence in you. Like, you have studied hard for this exam, right? So yeah, like I said, we've been preparing for this exam now for 3 or 4 months, right? So we can make some calculated risk. You can take that. So be like an entrepreneur and do that for your exam. Now, the last portion that I'm dealing with is question paper as far as preparation is concerned. So here it's like you have to reduce your negatives. That's what I'm looking at. Reduce your negative marks. Okay, that's how you add up your marks here, right? So don't jump to conclusion. That's the situation. You know, 3-4 question ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്, very hard question. You are not getting anything, and suddenly you see a simple question, Article 14 എന്താണ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയാവുന്ന കാര്യമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ you suddenly jump into an answer, make conclusion, and go and mark it. പക്ഷെ എന്താണ്, there's a catch. Maybe they are asking like something else. Maybe the third option is better than the first option. നിങ്ങൾ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കാതെ പോകും. So don't jump into conclusion. Read all the options. Read 1, 2, 3, 4 statement, then A, B, C, D. എല്ലാം റീഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് മാത്രം മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. ആൻഡ് ദെൻ വാട്ട് യു ഹാവ് ടു ഡു, ദെൻ യു ഹാവ് ടു റീചെക്ക്. യു ഹാവ് ടു ജസ്റ്റ് ചെക്ക് ദി ആക്യുറസി ബിഫോർ മാർക്കിംഗ്, എന്നിട്ട് മാത്രം മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. റൈറ്റ്, മേ ബി ടേക്ക് എ ഡീപ് ബ്രെത്ത് ആൻഡ് ദെൻ ഗോ മാർക്ക്. ലൈക്ക് ദെൻ അണ്ടർലൈൻ കീവേഡ്സ്. നമ്മൾ പേപ്പർ നല്ലപോലെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുക, കീവേഡ്സ് ഒക്കെ അണ്ടർലൈൻ ചെയ്ത് പോവുക. ഐ ഷോ യു ഇൻ ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് സ്ലൈഡ്. അപ്പോൾ അത് കീവേഡ്സ് വളരെ ക്രിട്ടിക്കലാണ്. സോ ഇറ്റ് ഹെൽപ്സ് യു ഫ്രം മേക്കിംഗ് എറർ. സോ ദർ ഇസ് സംതിങ് കോൾഡ് ആബ്സെൻസ് ഓഫ് മൈൻഡ്. ആബ്സെൻസ് ഓഫ് മൈൻഡ് ഉണ്ട്. നമ്മൾ ആലോചന ഫോക്കസ് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ മിസ്റ്റേക്ക് വരും. സോ നെവർ മേക്ക് ദാറ്റ്. ഫോർ കീവേഡ് അണ്ടർലൈൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന അതിനൊരു ഫിക്സ് ആണ്. ദെൻ യു ഹാവ് question directives. So maybe there are 3 or 4 questions there where the UPSC is asking for incorrect statements. ഇത് വളരെ കറക്റ്റ് ആണ്. നമുക്കൊരു 2-3 ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ കറക്റ്റ് തെറ്റിക്കാനും 6-7 മാർക്ക് ലൂസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ചലഞ്ചാണിത്. അപ്പൊ ഇൻകറക്റ്റ് ആണോ എന്നുള്ളത് വളരെ കോൺസെൻട്രേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ട് യു ഹാവ് ടു ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് ദാറ്റ്. Now, marks, you have to mark the questions which you have solved, which are yet to solve, which you are having doubt, because there is less time, very less time. So you have to basically maximize that time. For that, this is something I've done in my last year. This is 2020, one of my papers from my question book. So see what all things I've done. So I've tick mark with the questions which I have completed. So I've underlined, or I've just circled the keywords that I found. Then I have struck off the options that I have already eliminated. Right, this is how I am going. Then I tick the option which I am going to highlight, mark. So ഞാൻ MCQ പേപ്പറിൽ എക്ക് മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് ഞാൻ ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാം. I just look at back which one have I selected. I selected A, then I mark it. So make sure to do that. And then after completing one page, I just strike off this paper because you have less time. So if you are striking off this one page, when you are turning the pages, you don't have to look at this page. So make sure time management is critical. So you develop your own conventions of marking. So you should be clear. നിങ്ങൾ ഒരു ടിക്ക് കണ്ടാൽ അതിന്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്താണെന്ന് you should be able to decipher immediately. ഒരു ക്രോസ് കണ്ടാൽ you should be able to identify what that means to you. So you have to do that. Now finally, this is all preparation strategy, all these things. Now this thing is very necessary for your mental health. Is equally important to add 3 or 4 marks extra. Suppose you are having a fever. Suppose you got COVID. God forbid. Suppose you had some bad stomach. That will gonna lose your focus on that day. So take care of these things. Fix your sleep cycle. Maybe you are a night owl. നിങ്ങൾ രാത്രി മൊത്തം ഇരുന്ന് ഉറക്കളയ്ക്കുന്ന ആളായിരിക്കും. Turn that. Now last 15 days you adopt a proper sleep cycle where you sleep by 10 o'clock and you rise up by 7 a.m. at least. So അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ എക്സാം ഹാളിൽ നേരെ പോയിരുന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ you will be feeling all dizzy and fuzzy and everything. So make your sleep cycle right. Take cold precautions. Now restrict your movement outside. chances are you are taking 2 vaccines, as I have did, but take your vaccines. Though still then, take all the necessary precautions. You don't have to use this 1 years of preparation to COVID. Okay. Nutritious food, avoid non-veg, avoid eating outside in restaurants, everything. Take healthy food, take a good amount of fruits, green foods, salad would be nice. So keep track of your stomach, your mental happiness, everything. So last 2 or 3 days, don't take this junk food, don't eat non-veg, don't eat anything like that. Just pure homemade food would be nice. Then exercise, don't stress yourself. Okay, so do some workout, do something. If your hobby is singing, your hobby is playing something, do that. That helps you to wind down, relax. And this can be done even before the exam, couple of hours before the exam. Now, this is my final and very important point. Mental health is very crucial. So if you are facing anything, feel free to reach to me, feel free to reach your friends, reach your faculty, and finally, if it is outside, out of your control, be proud to consult your doctor. So if you have a fever, you will go and consult your doctor. So if you have anxiety, you have this is the anxiety, and these things are part and parcel of UPSC preparation. So feel free to consult your psychologist. Now, having said all these things, the thing is, don't ever feel down as far as your preparation is concerned. You have put all your energy into this. Maybe I've been talking to my students over the last 3 or 4 weeks and days. So they say, "So I'm not ready this year. I'm not going to give." You are ready. I'm your teacher and I know what you have studied. I interact with you. I know what you know. So if you are able, if you are studying for 1 year, you can comfortably make it to 80 or 675 marks out. And then you follow my strategies, you will surely make it to a reasonable score, 100 marks, 95, 90. You have a chance. If you are studying for last 1 year, you have a chance. So never feel demotivated and never say you can do this. You can do this. I'm speaking from my experience of my personal attempts and my teaching experience. So never say you can do this. You can do this until the last point and till the exam is over. You never say this word and you say we can. So that's the reality, right? So that's my my suggestions for you. Feel free to reach me. I have this Telegram channel. I'm doing a student outreach. You can reach me. You can ask your doubts or message me here. So if you like the messages that are conveyed, strategies that are considered, I'm not saying share and subscribe. I'm saying do practice it. You listening to this video is not going to make any changes. You have to practice the things that I've said in the next 15 days. And I'll come back to you, 5 years before the exam, I'll give you some of the tips to stay cool and everything. So if you want that, you have to subscribe the channel. I make that comment now. Right. And if you feel like, if this video is helping you out, don't be selfish. Okay, don't be selfish. Share it with your friends, share it with your fellow aspirants, and make them also, when you share things, you enrich yourself. So maybe they can give you some ideas which I am not giving you right now, something extra. But beware, that person should be qualified enough. So yeah, it's good to meet you here. Feel free to let me know how you feel. If there is something I should talk extra, feel free to mention that in the comment box. And you know what? You can do this. We can. And all the best, friends, all the best students. Right. See you later.